The growing threat of climate change has intensified legal battles worldwide. Back in 2022, a significant lawsuit in Sweden was filed against the state by a group of young activists, including environmentalist Greta Thunberg. They sought stronger measures to combat climate change, arguing that the government's inaction violated human rights. However, legal complexities and procedural barriers shaped the outcome of their case. Sweden's Supreme Court ruled that the court can't order the government to take specific action. Our next report brings you more on the tossed lawsuit.
The earth is burning. Glaciers are melting. Forests are disappearing. And heat waves are becoming unbearable. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is here, and it is relentless. But what happens when those in power refuse to act? In Sweden, a bold group of young activists decided they had enough. They called themselves Aurora and took their fight to court. Among them was Greta Thunberg, a name the world knows well. Their mission: to force Sweden to take stronger action against climate change. It was a legal battle like no other. In 2022, the group with 600 other young activists filed a lawsuit against the state. They argued that Sweden was violating the European Convention on Human Rights. They claimed the government was failing to limit climate change and mitigate its devastating effects. Their demand was simple yet ambitious: make Sweden do more to keep global warming under 1.5 degrees Celsius. But the road to justice is rarely smooth. The lawsuit went through multiple reviews, facing scrutiny on procedural grounds. Finally, the case reached Sweden's Supreme Court. Hopes were high. Eyes from around the world watched, but the court delivered a crushing blow. The judges ruled that the case could not proceed. Justice Jonas Malmberg explained the decision. He stated that courts cannot force the government or parliament to take specific actions.
A court cannot decide that parliament or the government should take any specific action without the democratic bodies deciding independently on those issues.
Yet the ruling left a small window open. The court did not dismiss the idea of a climate lawsuit entirely. It acknowledged that a differently structured case might be heard in the future.
We will continue to desperately try to prevent planetary collapses and get Sweden to do their legal duty to respect human rights and stop making the planetary crisis worse.
The ruling was a setback, but it was not the end. Aurora's legal and scientific coordinator vowed to keep fighting.
Aurora will definitely continue fighting to prevent planetary collapses and to hold the Swedish state accountable for their illegal fueling of the climate crisis. The exact legal route that will take is not decided yet, but it's also important to note that the Supreme Court does not close the door for climate cases in Sweden, but it's still possible to bring such a case.
Now, this is not the only one. Sweden's case is part of a growing global movement. Around the world, courts are becoming battlegrounds for climate action. However, the Swedish Supreme Court's decision highlighted a crucial issue. Individuals face steep challenges when suing governments over climate policies.
This decision makes me stressed out because science is so clear in that the world before 2030 needs to transform our entire societal systems at a larger scale than ever before in history. And the Swedish state is doing the opposite. The unfairly high emissions of the Swedish states are fueling the climate emergency up to the brink of planetary collapse.
And even though climate change affects everyone, personal legal standing is difficult to establish. So now this leaves Aurora with a critical decision. Should they restructure their case? Should they form an official association to strengthen their legal standing? The answers remain unclear. One thing, however, is certain. The fight is far from over. As the planet continues to warm, as floods and wildfires rage, as ecosystems crumble, who will take responsibility, and how long before it's too late?
Merci beaucoup. Hi. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogon, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically, in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.